things to pursue and gain. Yeah. Otherwise, he's going to continually come back because he's missed the golden, the brass ring or the golden chain. Yeah. Right. Well, I just wanted to throw this up for a moment. Now go to Plato's Gorgias, and that's a myth dealing with this issue. Now, there's something curious about this. First, Plato calls it a true tale, which helps. Well, he starts out this story by pointing out that at first the universe was ruled by Kronos, and people then were judged before they died. On their last breath, as it were, they were judged before they died, and therefore they still had the clothes and the attire of their earthly life that was still there, and people around them were doing the judging. So, good heavens, all kinds of things happened, as you can imagine. People were going to the wrong places. So finally, Zeus got upset with this. He recently took on the domain of guiding this universe of ours. And he said, this must stop. We have to bring about some real radical change in this. But one thing was always true. He said, one law respecting the destiny of man must be in place, and that is, he who lives his life in justice and holiness shall go, when dead, to the islands of the blessed. That should be SSED, of course. And dwell in perfect happiness, but those who, of course, have not lived well in injustice and vice, they go to the house of vengeance for punishment. So, he has two possibilities. Right? One, you're off to the islands of the blessed. And, of course, Tartarus, that place which we have heard about before, right? For punishment. Now, there has to be a change in judgment, of course. And so, after Pluto objected that souls were found their way to the wrong places, Zeus said, I'll put a stop to that, and he did it. Now, Zeus was in charge, as you know, in the heavens, Poseidon of the seas, and Pluto the underworld. Well, this is what he said. Look here. We must do this. We must stop this judgment of man. We must deprive him, we must deprive man of their foreknowledge. They must be stripped before they're judged. And the judge who judges them must themselves be naked. The souls must be naked. Therefore, his soul naked, the judge then will pierce into the other soul and see its true condition. Then they can judge. He's going to change the judges. He said, my two sons will be in charge of Asia, Minos and Rhadamanthus. And Europe, Achaeus. Now, Minos is going to hold the Court of Appeals. If there's any kind of worried or complex judgment, we'll give it to Minos, and that's why there are two there. So, and another thing, the judgment must happen as soon as a person is dead. Very quick. Now look at it. What are you going to judge? Well, you're going to judge, according to Plato, the condition of the soul. Well, how do you see the condition of the soul? He says, well, you know, he said, this is the condition. He said, take the body first. He said, each body retains, to a great degree, whatever it has done. It carries the habits of the body, whatever it is, has an impact on the body itself. And therefore, the habits of the body, whatever habit of the body is still visible after death on the soul. All the natural accidents of the soul are open to view. So then what do you see? Well, then you see all the habits that the person has had in their waking world, its impact on the body. All of that will be visible in the soul, and the soul itself will have all the natural things that it went through, all the accidents, all the things that it has experienced, so it will have both. Now, here's the interesting thesis. What does that mean? It means that the soul is affected by all that it has caused. All that it's caused, that affects it. We think of it the other way around. No. He's saying whatever the soul has caused, it affects the soul. Therefore, all the acts and deeds that it does, it has its effect back on the soul and so stains it. Therefore, it's marked, and therefore it has a record. Therefore, it can be seen. Now, I'm going to talk about punishment first for a few minutes. If a person is rightly punished, according to Plato, they become better, and they profit by it. And there's another way in which people can profit by punishment. When you can see examples, then you may learn from what you see, because if you see what they suffer and what they feared, it may produce a fear in you to avoid those things, and that's important. Now, there are two kinds of punishments. The kind where the souls are curable and those that are not curable. The curable are punished and improved by pain and suffering. This is all from Plato. And he has this curious statement, for there is no other way by which they can be delivered from evil. Those guilty of the worst crimes, they're incurable, and they're made examples in the house of punishment, or Tartarus. So you have two sets in here. You have those that are going to be curable, and those incurable. The incurable become the examples, the cured then will go through suffering, and in that pain and suffering they'll be improved. Now, if those people who are incurable are punished forever, well, that means eternal punishment. Or is it only for a period? If these are, in fact, the incurable ones, and they are then, as the Greek has it, right, forever, always, in a time of always in that time, or forever, then their punishment is forever. But if their punishment is forever, that violates the whole idea we expressed before. No growth. Not only that, if the person cannot benefit but what they go through, then they're really being consigned to vice forever. This is indeed curious. Look here now. Here's the problem. If punishment does not in any respect benefit us, if it doesn't benefit us, nor if it doesn't bring us to a better condition, then it's inflicted in vain. And the agent that does it is acting in vain. If the soul is always punished, it never enjoys good, then the soul is always in vice. Now, these are quotes from Plato. These are all quotes from Plato in the same dialogue. Now,